Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
What's going on, Boise State fans? Game day on another Friday edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. We're, 4 games? I guess it's the fifth game today, already our third game day edition on a Friday here, the third Friday game of the season. Boise State, San Diego State tonight. They will tango on the blue at 6 p.m. You can watch the KTVB pregame show at 5. You can watch our show before that at 4:30. Coverage coming all day at KTVB and also at BroncoNationNews.com. Jay Tust, happy game day, man. What's going on?
Happy game day. I guess we're finally here. Is it just me, or does it feel like this game was the last time Boise State played was a month ago?
It's crazy. It is crazy. It was a full week. I mean, people are trying to call this a short week, but they played last Friday, so it is a full week. But Friday to Friday, and yeah, all the news that's happened, you certainly feel like we've written enough about the it's one thing in the off season to have a coaching change or a quarterback, change, transfer, whatever, but to have all that happen in a span of a couple days, coming off one of the worst losses in program history. No shortage of storylines. Maybe that has made it seem like it's gone slow, because I think the anticipation for what tonight's going to look like has a lot of people excited.
Yeah, I agree. Excited, anxious, nervous. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go with the worst case scenario, but what if this doesn't work?
Who's the scapegoat next? I mean, you're already, I think if it works, everyone's just going to Plow and Bachmeier are going to be the scapegoats. But there are a lot of other issues on this team as well, with the O-line and the receivers. And I don't think anybody you could say has played up to their caliber. George Lonnie has at times, but I think this is kind of a look in the mirror type thing, Jay, where everyone's got to step their game up.
Yeah, for real, man. And I mean, it comes down to this. I mean, Andy has said time and time again, how can we put our players in the best position possible to succeed, right? And that's something they're going to have to do. I mean, this is going to take one heck of an effort by the coaching staff, because this is a big change mid-season. And we'll see if the Broncos can pull it off in a 7-day stretch where they can get things right enough to beat what will be a tough San Diego State team. I mean, San Diego State has had their own struggles offensively. They've been not very good at all. I mean, Hank Bachmeier had 16 passing yards at halftime last week, BJ. You know how many San Diego State's quarterback had at halftime? 11.
The numbers are pretty startling when you look at I was at CFB Stats the other day. Enjoy that site. I was looking at the game notes where they kind of put together some of the numbers, and it is two of the worst passing teams in the country. Boise State, you think, 114th, only 163 yards a game. That's terrible. Well, I don't know if there's more than 130 teams now, but
131.
Okay, so they're not dead last, but they are 130th of 131, as I almost knock over my light here. 73.8. That's how bad it was that I almost kicked over my light. 73.8 passing yards per game. And it's funny, Jay, when I saw the stuff about when I tweeted that Tim Plow was gone or whatever, there were literally one fan base that was retweeting me with comments, and it was San Diego State fans tagging their AD and their coach saying, see, it's not that hard. Like San Diego State fans are wanting their offensive coordinator can too. Yes, they're 130th of 131 teams, dude. 73 passing yards a game. That's like over double as, that's less than half of Boise State's, and yet everyone thinks Boise State's is not very good. Very interesting styles, a lot of similarities meeting tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit more what you expect out of San Diego State. I mean, San Diego State never lights the world on fire with their passing game. They are very deliberate on offense, and it actually kind of feels like that's what Boise State's trying to do a little bit with their offense, to be honest with you. We'll see what it adds up tonight. I think that this is a chance to hit the reset button, and I liked what Andy Avalos did back on what was it, Tuesday afternoon when he named his starting quarterback, Taylon Green. Like, there has been enough speculation throughout this last week or so, throughout the season for that matter, BJ, like, to come forward to end any and all speculation there. Yes, it probably helps maybe fire up the fan base because they know they're going to see Taylon Green start. I think they would have figured that out anyways. But to show more than anything that you have confidence in Taylon Green, that he's your guy now, like, that's not a shot at Bachmeier or anything. This is the circumstance, right? Like, you have to instill confidence with what you have left. And so it's moving forward with Taylon. And on Tuesday afternoon, when he really didn't have to tip his cards, Andy Avalos did by announcing that Taylon Green's a starting quarterback.
Comments are rolling in as expected on game day. New era starting with Dirk Cutter and Taylon Green. So jacked up for tonight's game. Dayton Robinson, let's go. Beat the Aztecs. JD crossing his fingers for a good game. And Tanner says, about to see how much some QB mobility can help an O-line. South end zone, stand up. Yeah, eight false starts last week against UT Martin. What are we putting the over-under at? We going 2.5, or is that too low tonight?
2.5 seems like a good number. I thought 8 was ridiculous.
A Mountain West team, San Diego State's not going to come in as rattled, I guess, by the crowd as a UT Martin would.
Yeah, I agree with that. But getting back to just like playing to your strengths, like, and what is this going to look like tonight? Like, sometimes there are people that know more about football than us, BJ, and a lot of them probably reside over in that Boise State football complex. But I will say this, like, Andy Avalos, the players, we've talked about simplifying the game. How do you simplify the game? How do you put your players in the best situation possible to succeed, right? Like, you get Taylon Green out of the pocket. You make some of the decisions for him. You throw in some screens. I mean, history shows you that San Diego State's going to come after Taylon tonight, right?
Yeah.
So how do you combat that? How do you get the ball in your playmaker's hands? How do you take advantage of a 6'6" quarterback that can get over that pressure? You know what I mean? So how do you put those guys in the best position possible to succeed? It can be really complicated, or in some cases, I think it can kind of be easy. Move the pocket, mix in some screens, and put some guys in some good positions to succeed.
Now, we don't want the official predictions yet. Save them for our pregame show, but we are giving away a free pizza at Westside Pizza for whoever gets closest. This is at the request of Westside Pizza. They're going to give away a pizza for whoever, Jay, closely predicts Taylon Green's stat line tonight. So whoever can closely predict Taylon Green's stat line, save them for the pregame show. Come back about 4:30 tonight, and we'll have that. But he says 150 rushing yards and 3 TDs. That would be quite the I think I put the over-under on passing yards at like 175. What would you take there?
I mean, this is a good San Diego State defense.
Is 175 a fair number, or is that even too high?
I'd probably go a little high on that, man.
So
I'd take the under.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's not again, that's just San Diego State's defense is good. I kind of still expect Boise State to operate at the same pace they've been operating at on offense. And I think when you mix in Taylon's ability to run, that's going to take away some of his passing yards. I think you're probably looking at a pretty similar stat line to what you saw at Oregon State. I don't know if 102 rushing yards are super realistic, but I wouldn't have said that prior to Oregon State either, and Taylon would have shut me up then. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But this is a defense that's good, and more than anything, BJ, like that Oregon State Oregon State defense was preparing to stop Hank Bachmeier. This San Diego State defense, ever since Tuesday at 12:51 p.m., excuse me, has known that Taylon's running out there, so they've had time to think about how they're going to stop him.
Hey, he's down at KTVB. I'm here in the Bronco Nation News studios, the Cutwater Canned Cocktail studios. We appreciate their support. Make sure you grab a couple Cutwater Canned Cocktails for the game tonight. Very cheap and affordable at your local gas station or grocery store. So for all your tailgating needs tonight, or if you're watching the game, you may need a couple tonight. It's probably going to be a pretty close game. Make sure you check out Cutwater Canned Cocktails. We appreciate all of our great sponsors, but check out TCS. They've got some great specials going right now. They want to help you get out there towing that first load in no time. Truck driving is a great industry right now, so go ahead and check it out. You can drive the big rig on your screen, or you can drive the little Amazon truck you see in your neighborhood. So check them out, transcomservice.com. They'll help you with all the permits and things you need to do to get out there towing that first load in no time. The Blue and Orange Store as well, theblueandorangestore.com. $40 on an order online gets you free shipping. That's it, $40, and you get free shipping on the online order. You can also go into the Blue and Orange Store there at the Boise Town Square Mall and get all your gear for the game tonight. And I think it's blue in the crowd tonight, right, Jay? Everyone's supposed to wear blue tonight, so get over to the Blue and Orange Store and check them out, theblueandorangestore.com. Ridley's Family Markets as well, 13 Idaho locations. Check them out. There's one near you. The Cuno location is the one we frequent often in the Rains house. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, the home delivery, all that great stuff. So make sure you check out Ridley's Family Markets. Jay, got the James shirt, sporting the James shirt today. We'll be over at the James for our pregame show. We're passing out the koozies, by the way. We got the koozies for Bronco Nation News, thanks to our partners with ICCU. So if you want to get a koozie for your tailgating party, come on by and see us at the James. We'll be on the air sometime between 4 and 4:30 for the pregame show. You can have a drink, have dinner, have an app, and then after the game, we'll be out on the patio. You might need a light jacket tonight if you're out on the patio after the game or even at the game. So come on by and see us. Coach Riddle would love to meet you, and we're going to talk some ball. We'll take your questions live on the show if you want to come on by the James after the game. So Jake says, let's go see you at the James. There we go. So would love to see some folks stop by. And Derek says he's pumped to leave work at 2 and kick off the Blue Collar Club tailgate at 3. Now, I believe they have tacos is what they're giving away today. So, Derek, me and Jay, are we allowed to stop by and try a taco or two? I may have to put you on the air or something if we can trade it for a taco. But Jay, it's funny. Someone had a question here. Where was it at? Derek said the Utah State wants their coaches starting quarterback bench, which he got hurt. But is there a happy fan base in the Mountain West right now? The Mountain West, I don't know if dumpster fire is not the right word, but I think there's not a team in the entire conference in the top 100 in passing. It is just crazy right now. Well, league a lot of us thought was going to be pretty good is really struggling right now. Who's the best team in the Mountain West?
This answer is going to be scary, BJ. UNLV's pretty good. What?
Yeah. When they were favored on the road at Utah State, I thought, okay, that shows something right there. Now they're pretty big favorites this week again.
Yeah, no, UNLV. I mean, they're 2-touchdown favorites over New Mexico. Air Force, Kurt, like they suffered an upset loss already to Wyoming, but Wyoming's pretty stout. I think that's the one thing that, like, if fans need to cling to anything right now, that's one thing to cling to. I mean, if you want to chase a Mountain West championship, which is still a big time goal of this program, it seems within reach this year. Even if Boise State has struggled a little bit, no team has separated themselves so far, so it seems like that's up for grabs. Whoever wants to make a run at this thing.
Now, we can take the tacos. I don't think we can take the 10-barrel brewing pub beers while we're both working here, but we did get a nice offer from Derek here, Jay. Maybe save us a beverage for after the game, but may have to stop by and get a tacos at the taco at the Blue Collar Club. We'll have to see. Another interesting stat line, Jay, when I was kind of doing the comparison and the Boise State game notes on the stats. How about third downs on offense? San Diego State 129th in the country on third downs, 21.2%. Boise State a little bit better, 35.7%, but still 89th in the country. So I know in the game against UTEP, the problem was a lot of Boise State's offensive third downs were like 3rd and 7, and a lot of their defensive third downs were like 3rd and 1. So, I know third down stat is what it is, but I think tonight what happens on 1st and 2nd down and whether it's 3rd and short or 3rd and long for both the Boise State offense and the Boise State defense is going to be a big key tonight.
I mean, all of that plays out on the early downs, though, right? Like Boise State has to do a better job of defending the rush on 1st and 2nd down, because then you can dictate what happens on 3rd down. And last week against UTEP, Boise State got off to a great start. in terms of winning those early downs. But then all of a sudden, it fell apart for them a little bit on those later downs. And UTEP had a ton of success in the second half, picking up those 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s. And those were situations that Boise State largely avoided this season. So they need to get back in rhythm on offense, getting off the field. And it's funny, like, Boise State's been a really good tackling team. And I asked some of the guys about this week, BJ. First 3 games, they were pretty darn sharp when it came to tackling. And I would say for an early season, definitely probably one of the better teams in the country, and definitely one of the better teams that I've seen a Boise State defense come out when it comes to tackling. The last week against UTEP, I think when you think of missed tackles, you think of a guy jukes you and all of a sudden he's off to the races 80 yards. In this case, it was just the little things where UTEP was able to fall forward or spin out of a tackle and get 3 more yards on, 2nd and 6. And then all of a sudden you're in 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 2 or whatever it is. And it just created these really favorable situations for UTEP. And they were able just to kind of nudge that 10-minute drive along there in the fourth quarter. That was ultimately the difference maker.
By the way, I can't believe they're letting Doug Martin raise the blue cast flag and not Karen Rains, who's coming to the game tonight. That seems a little we're talking about prominent people in the community here. I mean, come on. But my wife is coming to the game tonight. Looks like she's going to be stopped. Looks like she after she lands at 3:30 is going to be stopping by the Blue Collar Club tailgate. They're making plans there on the chat. So appreciate Derek, and my wife will never turn down a free taco. None of us will, right? So we'll head over there and take advantage of that. So looking forward.
Are the boys coming or just Karen?
No boys. It's a quick trip, just Friday to Sunday for my wife. But she's going to.
We love our kids, but I'm not going to lie. Good for you, Karen.
Yeah, she's going to be stopping by the James either before or after the game, and I guess we'll trade some koozies for the tacos for the Blue Collar Club. So we'll have some for them. And again, come by and see us. You guys are on what, 5 o'clock today, Jay, for your show, 5 to 6?
Yeah, rolling out the door at 5 o'clock. So we'll be on the Blue up until 6. Yeah, okay, man. I know these aren't short weeks, but Fridays, man, they feel like short weeks. I don't know.
They do. Even when the game's Friday, because the weekend's not the same, and then you wake up Monday and it's already time, and we didn't have interviews Monday, and so we only had interviews Tuesday, Wednesday. And by the way, Jay, at 9:30 when we say goodbye to you, we got a special guest. Cody Gogler is going to come on for a few minutes and talk about some of the game day changes they're trying to do from week 1 to week 2. So if you're watching and going to the game tonight, folks, Cody Gogler is going to be on here in about 10 minutes to help us try to see and what they can do better from week 1 to week 2. And Jay, I know, unfortunately for Boise State, that became kind of a decent-sized side story after the first game. You had people waiting in line for 45-plus minutes for a beer. You had people trying to get into the stadium that missed almost the whole first quarter. For them, I don't have any whatever for them. Stop drinking your beer in the parking lot and get inside earlier into the stadium. I think that's part of it. It's on you if you're waiting until 5 minutes before kickoff thinking you're going to get into the stadium. But I think that they said they're in the release yesterday, maybe even bringing in some staff from Las Vegas to try to help with the process. But it's an older stadium. It's not the perfect size on the concourses. There's not a ton of concession stands, not a lot of entries into the stadium. And it was kind of showing in that first game there. They had some issues.
BJ, have you been down to the concourse during a football game?
I don't know if I ever have, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so the home opener, my wife and my little girl went with some friends, and shockingly, it is the first time that I had ever been down to the concourse during a football game. And, man, I got to say, I do feel for fans a little bit that those are some pretty tight headquarters to grab a beverage. Like, you can see why that place needs an upgrade desperately.
Yeah, I remember the Garth Brooks concert. I was in the concourse, and
I've been there too. That was my one and only experience, really, for like a big packed event at Albertson Stadium that I just attended, right? And so you go around the Mountain West, and all of a sudden you see like these wider concourses, and it's just more comfortable. And there's only so much the Boise State athletic department can do right now. And I'll say this, BJ, I appreciate it. They're not making excuses. I can see how they can make excuses if they want to make excuses, though. I mean, when it comes to workers, everybody in America is like impacted at the moment, right? And they expect upwards of 300 staffers, for a Boise State football game. You know how many they had last week? It was like down near 100. And that's crazy. just getting bodies in there that can either volunteer or be paid has just been a little bit of a challenge for them. And that's why, as you said, they're bringing people up from Las Vegas to try to remedy the problem. And I know it's going to help, but they're not going to get anywhere near that 300 number that they need.
And according to the release they sent out yesterday, and we'll talk more to Cody about this, but the largest gross concessions revenue for a football game in venue history. So they said it resulted in, quote, long lines and unacceptable wait times. So they had more money come in on concessions than any game in the history of the stadium.
Yeah. And I know something about this, and we don't need to go into this much longer because there's going to be somebody way more knowledgeable than I am about this topic coming on in 10 minutes here. But I know that, like, when it comes to expected wait times, I don't think that's the data that Boise State has available to them yet. It looks like you're drinking a beer, by the way.
Yeah, I should. You know what? Just to show people, it's the Kroger Big K here, Dr. K, zero sugar. So yeah, we're not starting the we're not on the
Bud Power Hour at 9 o'clock.
Bud Select at 9 a.m. here. No, not yet.
But getting back to that, I know that Boise State's, they are like trying to study and analyze that so they can now have like target goals of when and how long it's supposed to take you to get nachos or a beer or whatever it is. My point, a lot of administrations, I feel like, especially in the past, maybe at Boise State, it's kind of like, oh, we'll take this and next season it'll be better. These freaking guys and gals, they sprint to make it better as soon as they possibly can. So
yeah,
sorry if some of those fans are frustrated about it, but they don't sleep a lot over there, and they are tirelessly at work trying to fix this.
Yeah, it looks like they made a lot of changes that they hope are improving things for tonight's game. We'll talk here in a couple minutes, as I said, with Cody Gogler about that. And yeah, the release was pretty thorough yesterday with all the changes they're making. They certainly took the concerns and everyone's thoughts and suggestions into account. And yeah, it looks like there's some major changes for tonight that they hope will result in a little smoother process. So we'll talk to Cody in a couple minutes about that. We're going to get this game previewed here in a couple minutes, Jay. But first, I do want to thank Boise Dentistry Co. Check them out. Locations across the Treasure Valley. Dr. Meinert and his staff do a tremendous job. Full family dentistry. If you're looking for a dentist, look no further than Dr. Meinert. We appreciate him. The Raines family uses Dr. Meinert and couldn't be happier. Check them out. BoiseDentistryCo.com. United Commercial Insurance as well. They can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. Make sure you check them out. UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. They make business insurance easy. Our friend Matt Bauscher at Bauscher Real Estate, the #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. And Jay, I did confirm yesterday with Matt that he is in for year 2 of the Matt Bauscher Show coming up on Wednesdays, I believe it'll be. So we're going to have the Winston Venable Show, the Matt Bauscher Show. Who knows what's next here at BroncoNationNews.com. But check them out. No home is too big or too small for Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. I mentioned Idaho Central Credit Union. They've given us the koozies. Check them out, ICCU.com, for all your banking needs. Lithia Ford of Boise as well. The fall kickoff sale going on. And, of course, our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Make sure you check them out, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All right, Jay, in the final 6-7 minutes we got here, this is as intrigued as I've been in a long time for a game, man. I was on the student radio station in San Diego last night, and they were asking me kind of what I'm expecting, and I said, I'm not trying to have a cop-out answer, but I have no idea. I saw Brady Hoke was talking about how he called some old coaches that he knew that used to coach with Dirk Cutter with the Falcons, trying to find out about his offense. We're doing anything we can to find out what it's going to look like. I don't think they're going to come out and run the pistol exclusively, or something, or the triple option in 5 days. But what kind of changes do you think we actually might see from the offense? And I do think with Taylon Green in there's some obvious changes regardless of the OC because of the things he can do with his legs.
I think that the thing you want to see is this offense attempt to connect and get in rhythm. I mean, very few times this season has it felt like they sustained any type of rhythm or fluidity on offense. And I think that will be a huge point of emphasis for this team today. And that comes down to, like I said, I think you throw in some screens. I think you get Taylon out of the pocket. I think you're going to see more read option today. Put Taylon in a position where he can gain confidence and really take advantage of his skill set, and let the offense take advantage of his skill set for that matter too.
Yeah, I you think about the fact that, what kind of offense is Dirk Cutter going to run? Well, Boise State ran both offenses. They ran the quick, hurry up, fast offense. They've run the slow it down. So whichever one Dirk Cutter kind of, decides to run, they've run both of them. But I do think you'll probably see a lot of short passes, part of that is the O-line issues, not a lot of time for Taylon Green, but I think a lot of it's going to be, I don't think you're going to see Taylon Green taking a lot of 5-step drops and letting it fly 40 yards down the field, at least in my opinion, especially early in the game. I think it's going to be a lot of short over the middle, crossing routes, short passes, get him into a rhythm, and kind of, and the thing is, we've talked about it. I think we talked about this a couple of times. Like Tim Plow said on that 74-yard run that he had against Oregon State, he also missed several wide open receivers. So I think with Taylon Green, he has to you just have to keep him from not literally as soon as the first second it breaks down, just take off running. Like you still need to go through your progressions, find receivers. I think Taylon Green having a full week of practice to prep and now a full game from the start. I'm very curious to see what improvements we see him make from that Oregon State game.
Yeah. How do you get a defense on their heels? Like, I don't know the last time we necessarily felt that out of a Boise State offense. And one thing I want to say just before I forget to say it, Boise State has success today. I think you can coincidentally point the finger at Tim Plow and Hank Bachmeier, but I think they've just been I think they've been so disjointed on offense now that it's almost tough to even compare what has been going on to what will be going on, in my opinion. And that's we've talked about this, BJ, so I'm not going to go super far into it or take a bunch of time, but I don't think that they were running Tim Plow's offense. I think that he probably struggled with that because he wanted to run his offense. I think that it made the whole offense kind of clunky, if you will. It just, nobody could like really find that rhythm. And so I think the only option was kind of just mass change and get a guy in there that might be doing what Andy wants to do a little bit more on offense and see how effective that can be. The good thing is it's not coach speak when we talk about Dirk Cutter's experience, right? Like he's gone through stuff like this in the NFL. So I mean, he knows it. He knows how to combat this. And I had an interesting conversation with former Boise State wide receiver Shane Williams-Rhodes this week. And,
Jay's Sports Bar, man, it's can't miss every week.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out if you got time. But he just said something that was kind of interesting to me, BJ, because I know like we've had discussions like this, like how much of the playbook can you change in 7 days? Like you can't throw the entire thing out, and they won't. But I will say this, like there is a significant amount of install and change that happens on a weekly basis, right? And so they can still change a lot, and it can still be within the rhythm of how you prepare for just a normal game. And so I do think that's important to consider. And I think they're going to love when the bye week finally gets here because they can do even more. But they can change quite a bit and still have it be fairly in rhythm of a normal game week.
This is something I would like to see. So how about a little bit of trickery? Like that was the one thing I never understood. Like they didn't do any kind of trick plays. I mean, whether it be, I'm not saying it has to be as crazy as like the Statue of Liberty or the triple reverse pass, whatever, but let's see a little, just some sort of trick play or creativity, one wide receiver pass or a flea flicker or something. That's what our Logan Dominguez from the marching band, we appreciate you checking us out, Logan. But yeah, let's see something, right? Wasn't that one thing that was lacking?
I'll take a counter from a running back. I in all honesty, I think that's one thing we will see moving forward is some type of misdirection, getting people like we've seen how it's worked on Boise State at times where they get their eyes in the wrong spot, right? Like I think that stresses an opposing defense. And so they'll look to probably get back to that and utilize some of that and hopefully have a better offensive showing. I mean, BJ, the good news is the over-under on this game is like 39, 40, somewhere in that range. If you can put up 24 points, heck, I'll even say 23, couple of field goals. What would that be? That'd be 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals from Jonah Dalmas, your all-world kicker.
5 scoring possessions. There we go.
If you can do that, I think in a game against San Diego State, you actually feel pretty good. So
Dayton says get Riley Smith involved on a double pass, something, right? Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if Riley's back. He's missed the last couple of games, obviously dealing with a little something himself. It doesn't seem like that offensive line is going to be completely healthy either. So how can they put their players they have in the best situations possible to find some type of rhythm on offense? And I don't think anybody should worry if Boise State gets up 30-0 and they win 30-29. Don't worry about margin of victory today. It is time just to push this cart across the goal line and call it a day.
Ben Dooley back. We don't know about that. Somebody was asking. Logan says, how about a Cole Wright kickoff return touchdown tonight? Avery Williams, we should have played that. Maybe I'll play it on the post-game show. Avery Williams.
Yeah, you should. That was hilarious.
That was pretty good. Or I'll play it on the pregame show. 16-7 was his final thing, Jay, in the final 30 seconds or so here before we bring on Cody Gogler. What's just your final analysis, final thoughts? Obviously a weird week in Boise State football history. And I wrote about it on BroncoNationNews.com. But as bad as it's been, as ugly as it's been, they're 1-0 in conference play. In these next 3 weeks, they have a chance to solidify themselves. And as we said, it doesn't look like anybody in the Mountain West is going to be a unbeatable team here. So as bad as it's been, man, their goals are still right in front of them, and that starts tonight against San Diego State.
You really set the tone for the rest of the season these next 2 weeks. San Diego State and Fresno State, two of the premier programs in the Mountain West. And not only are you playing them at home on the blue. It's time for Boise State. Andy's talked about restoring tradition and all this stuff. Like, these are the weeks you're going to find out. Tough decisions have been made. Will they actually be effective? We'll see. One thing I'm going to make a little prediction, and I don't know. This is just a guess. I think Davis Cutter has his best game of the season, and I don't think that's. So I just think he does.
I saw the playbook. It's like 18 targets to him, and then nobody else gets a chance to get the ball thrown their way. Crazy.
What does Leon Rice say about Max Rice's son, as Leon calls him, number 12? He likes putting him in games because he's smart, right? He makes good decisions. He doesn't do anything dumb. He doesn't turn the ball over,
That you've been pretty spot on, and you're calling Davis Cutter as the guy today. He was the first one going in drills all week at practice.
I think Davis is a guy that you know what you're getting out of him, and so I'm not predicting a 67-yard touchdown or a 10-catch performance or anything like that. But he's been so quiet this year. I just think like you're looking of things you can lean on, consistency, like those types of things that aren't going to go wrong for you. And Davis is a guy that, while he's not the fastest guy or the most athletic, he's very fast and very athletic, but he might not be the fastest or most athletic guy on the team. He's very, very sound, and I think he's very, very reliable. And so, bold prediction.
Well, we'll see. I know Cody Gogler is very excited, Jay, that you warmed up the crowd for him. So, any words, Jay?
Wow! Look at the viewers that just shot up the moment Cody popped on.
We actually just lost. We actually just lost like 30% of our viewership when we clicked Cody on there. But no,
not shocked.
Jay, we appreciate you coming on. We're gonna chat with Cody, and we'll see you down at the stadium today, man.
Sounds good. Shout out, Cody. You guys have a good one.
All right, you too, Jay. Good to see you, bud.
There he is, Jay Tust. Appreciate him for coming on. I'm going to switch the graphic here so it doesn't look like Cody's with KTVB. Cody, we appreciate you coming on, man. We got a lot to talk about, obviously, with for going from home game number 1 to home game number 2. We've had a lot of comments and suggestions on our. Everyone's pumped up here. Cody Goatler from Derek Morales. We got Cody Rules.
My
Cody,
boy Derek.
Everyone's loving you, man. We appreciate you coming on. What's the feeling like? Home game day number 2 tonight, man.
Oh, man, it's awesome. First, thanks again for being on the show, BJ. Obviously, I just wanted to start off by saying our hearts go out to San Diego State. Obviously, tragic passing of former player Gavin Escobar earlier this week, and we found out about that here recently. So we know we've got them in town. Their hearts are heavy. So for Bronco Nation out there tonight, just want to make sure ask you to support this, support and have good sportsmanship. Obviously, let's make it rowdy. Let's make it entertaining. But our hearts go out to San Diego State. But, BJ, we're extremely excited to be back at home. The first 3 out of the first 4 are on the road. We know what this home field advantage is for us. And the weather is starting to settle in here in Boise. So nice, crisp, cool morning here. Got the blue just out of my office here, out of the window here to the left. And I think there's just the key words: excitement, motivated, energized, and we're going to put our best foot forward as a staff to make sure Bronco Nation has a great time tonight.
Cody's the Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Affairs over at Boise State, and we're talking about the game day changes. I know you guys worked really hard all offseason. You had the Experience Blue Committee. You guys put a ton into it, but until you get out there and see what how it works, I mean, you can't have a practice game with 36,000 people, so to speak, or a walkthrough. So what was it like, I guess, the first game and some of the challenges? And I know you guys, nobody was more disappointed or frustrated than you guys, but I know you guys feel like you've worked hard these last couple of weeks to rectify some of the issues.
Yeah, sure. It's always good to get your season opener under your belt, BJ. When you look at, there are always going to be opportunities to grow and get better. The number one thing that you always have to be grateful for is you can't force, your fans to come out and create an amazing environment. Bronco Nation is one of the best fan bases in the country, if not the best. So the opportunity to sell out an FCS game for a home opener, we're just really grateful for Bronco Nation coming out. Obviously, we put a ton of work and preparation into trying some new things this year, the expansion of the Ford Fan Zone, Blue Chaos flag, some in-game elements with the new video board, completely rebranding our concessions and kind of changing things up on how we offer our concessions. So you see a lot of good in that, but also, the competitor in you, we realized, specifically with our waiting lines to get into the stadium about 30 minutes prior to kick, and then our concession lines, that we're not meeting the standard yet. And, that certainly does not, take away from the effort of the hundreds of people involved trying to make this thing work. We're going to be dedicated to that. I know our staff has worked really, really hard over the last 2 weeks to make some adjustments, and it doesn't matter if we reach perfection tonight. There's going to be something that we can always be better on. So, just coming from a place of motivation tonight as we try to show Bronco Nation that we're doing everything we can. The standard is not 45 minutes to get a hot dog or a beer. We certainly know that. We've got data on that. We know what we're capable of if we can get things going in the right direction. So, first things first here with Bronco Nation, we can be better, and we're going to try to take the next step tonight.
The stadium's just an older stadium, and the way it had stuff, the way it kept getting expanded to, I mean, the concourse can only be so big. And I know you guys are working to, as part of the, $300 million renovations, a lot of that would include like updated concourses and things like that. But I mean, the concession stands are what they are. The restrooms are what they are right now. So there's only so much you guys can do in terms of the congestion on the concourse and some of the lines. So how are you trying to make some of those changes?
Yeah. So, I think, you definitely, you have what you have. And certainly there's a lot of planning to expand the East Side Stadium concourse at some point as part of the Master Athletics Village. But, also you don't want to make excuses. We've got a beautiful venue. We've got fans that want to be here and have a great time. And so, again, I'm just so proud of our team for continuing to monitor, how we can modify this. And so I think in general, there may be a magic formula that, perhaps Bronco Nation, believes that's floating around out there. But at the end of the day, it's all about staffing. You need to make sure that you're maxing out your staffing. It's about your signage, your communication. And then ultimately, when you look at concessions, it's the simplification of your menu and the visibility of your menu, so people know what they want as they approach the point of sale area. And then your queuing lines, as many know, when you go to amusement parks, fairs, professional sports venues, are extremely, extremely valuable to expediting that fan process. So we've shifted up our queuing lines. We've added new stanchions, new signage on the West Stadium concourse for the first time ever this past for our first home game. We launched the Locals Corner. It was awesome. We did great with our gross sales in that area. We had great feedback. The lines obviously need to continue to improve, but we did learn for that area specifically, people were getting through quicker. So on the east side of the stadium, BJ, we've turned our Double R Ranch Grill into a grab and go market as well, where we'll be pre-wrapping, pre-making all of our product, have all of our soft drinks iced down and ready to go. So individuals can just come through in the queuing lines, grab what they want, and then proceed to 4 point of sale counters. And we're just going to try to get everybody through there as quickly as we can. And then we've gotten some feedback also about, making sure that everyone understands what Bronco Alley is. So Bronco Alley is just outside of East Stadium. It's a part of our stadium footprint. So you're not actually leaving the stadium. We've activated several concessions areas, several food trucks, adult beverage kiosks, and there are 25 or 30, porta potties out there as well. So
that's on the parking lot, right, where you have the fence extended out. Yeah,
just right outside the extension there, and that's open pregame. It's open in game, and we are encouraging those. We are seeing the shortest waiting lines down there in Bronco Alley. And so those that have East Stadium tickets, if you want to just take a little bit of an extra walk, that is an opportunity to kind of get out of the concourse. And we're hopeful that our fans will do that because that will free up some of the spacing in the concourse as well. And then there's some other things, BJ, that happened last week that, we certainly can control. We are now going to offer water at every concessions opportunity throughout Albertson Stadium. We were seeing some issues with people having to get in line to get a water somewhere, and then perhaps they wanted to get in another line to grab a pretzel. So we're going to require all of our point of sale and our subcontractors to carry water this evening.
Now, not to put you on the spot here, but I had a couple of comments / questions about the process that I was hoping I could run by you or at least bring up.
Sure.
Perry says, how about putting some vendors out in the crowd? Has that been considered at all? Or
Yeah, it has. We specifically do some work in the North Stadium area just because that area is so hard to get to and from when you look at concessions. Those are referenced as hawkers, but at the end of the day, BJ, that's a really good question. We've had a lot of dialogue about that. When you look at the data in general and what you're able to accomplish and how many people you're able to serve, we're really trying to put all of our staffing focus right now on the East and West concourses to put every staff person that we've hired, every nonprofit organization available in those concession stands. We expect potentially upwards of between 20 and 30 people per concession stand tonight, which is, we're getting kind of to the max there is what we can fit in those areas.
Logan says, what about letting fans back outside into the parking lot to help with the congestion in the concourse, have more options outside as well? I know that has to do with selling alcohol in the games, right? What you change the re-entry? Because by the way, there's not very many schools that are still doing the re-entry policy. That's pretty standard now to not be allowed back in.
Yeah, especially at the FBS level and above where alcohol sales are, for the most part, they're starting to be added just about everywhere in the country. It is an awesome question. And certainly I don't think I know that our challenges right now at halftime are associated with that. For several years, our fans could just go back out to the parking lots. Now we don't provide that option. And so everybody's sort of competing for the same opportunities to get concessions. When you look at the ability to do no reentry, that does tie back into the policy surrounding selling alcohol in venue, our alcohol partnership and sponsorship that we have through Anheuser-Busch. So yeah, those are awesome questions. And unfortunately that having alcohol in venue is a big part of the no reentry policy.
Logan, a lot of people giving you praise as well. Appreciate the changes you made. You're still maintaining a lot of the traditions like the Bronco walk pregame. Game one was great. Appreciate you all from the admin perspective. Jonathan's wanting to know about the blue chaos flag because that was I thought I saw it on the screen. I saw it work. I thought it went great, but somehow a lot of people missed it or didn't understand when it was happening. You got a big one tonight with Doug Martin. I mean, a first-round draft pick coming back. Yeah. What did you make of how game one went with the blue chaos flag? And here's another somebody else was saying could they show it on the screen? But I mean that you guys did. I don't know what else folks were wanting, but it's right before. It's literally right before kickoff. Your thoughts on the blue chaos flag?
First of all, I love that people are asking these questions because we're sort of going through that same dialogue. It appeared to be really well received, on social media leading up to the game, and then ultimately we made the Doug Martin announcement, I believe yesterday. Everyone seems very excited. So I believe the concept around it is gaining traction. So BJ, anytime that you roll out a new tradition, you're going to probably have a couple of adjustments to make just to make sure you're capturing the audience, calling everyone's attention to the right place. And so we are absolutely planning to call more attention to the blue chaos flag tonight. We're having dialogue, building things out with our video board team as we speak, just across the hallway for what does a graphic look like on the video board. I know our fans I appreciate the grace and just talking to some fans. Every second is completely accounted for from 90 minutes before kickoff all the way to the end of the game. So we've got about 1 minute and 35 seconds from the time that the coin toss is completed to the time that we kick off to enact this blue chaos tradition. We feel like that's the perfect spot. It's right before kickoff. And so we're trying to kind of play around with different ideas to get as much in there that we can and as much recognition as we can to ultimately get those decibels up above 100 meters and have this place rolling for kickoff.
And I know you got the light show we couldn't see in the first game. That made tonight with the getting a little darker. May see more of the light show. But before we let you go, Cody, and we appreciate your time, we could have you on for hours here with all the comments and questions coming in. But we saw the release yesterday. I mean, is there anything else you want to touch on? You're speaking directly to Bronco Nation here in terms of the process. We saw you guys have 20% more food and beverage products you've pre-ordered, so you're going to have more food, more workers. I guess, I was suggesting earlier, fans, I guess, need to try to come into the stadium a little earlier probably. I mean, this is not a stadium where you can 5 minutes before kickoff try to slam that last beer and run inside the stadium, or you're going to miss the first quarter. So I know, is there just any kind of final thing you want to get across, or things to Bronco Nation heading into tonight?
Yeah, absolutely, BJ. Thanks for that opportunity. A couple things come to mind. Number one, for the most part, I felt like our ingress and egress last week was one of our more successful parts of game day. We did not see any major challenges. We've got some data that shows that we do have some challenges on Friday evenings. Obviously, families are getting kids out of school. They're getting home. They're getting ready for the ball game. Folks are coming in from out of town. So for those that can make it here early, we ask our Bronco Nation to not wait until 5:15, 5:30 to try to pull in the parking lot. There's only so much staff and so many ingress that we can implement for Albertson Stadium. So that would be the first thing. Try to get here early. We do have the new Ford Fan Zone expansion that is completely free for all of Bronco Nation, just outside the Larry and Marianne Williams Hall of Fame Plaza, in between DeChevreau Field. We've got a live band that will begin at 4:00. We've got the pregame radio show hosted by Rick Worthington. That place is a place where you can BYOB, bring your own food. It's a come one, come all concept. If you don't have anything, we do have 2 sports gardens, otherwise known as beer gardens, where we do sell adult beverages and various food items. There'll be food trucks on hand. Try to get here as early as you can. And then something to be on the lookout for. This year, we added on the East Concourse entry and the West Concourse entry express lanes, security mags for express lanes. And for those that can do this, it would be very beneficial to either bring everything in a clear bag, bring just a clutch, or a fanny pack. And if you don't have a purse or other things that are going to, keep you from getting into the stadium or having to go through security and get things checked, having Bronco Nation kind of learn that this is a new opportunity to walk through that express lane, I think we can get people in the stadium a little bit quicker. And then the last thing that, I probably did not touch on was we are going to try to do more staff outside of the concession lines for wristbanding. So when you get in line, please, be on the lookout for our concession staff workers that'll be in clearly marked uniforms. Have your IDs out and ready to go. That'll help us get those wristbands on you so you can get up and get your beers and go back and watch the ball game.
Well, I'm sure you'd agree with this. Nick says his rule of thumb is to get in his seat 45 to 60 minutes before kickoff. So you would love that, a packed house early. And Joel says you earned yourself a free taco. So come on by the Blue Collar Club tailgate. We appreciate it, Cody. Like I said, we got all kinds of questions and comments here that we couldn't get to, but maybe we could schedule a time where we could do a little interactive Q&A here or something with fans, because the information was great and the questions are great and the feedback's great. And we really appreciate you sharing your knowledge today.
Anytime, BJ. Like I said, love Bronco Nation. Absolutely have fallen in love with this place. You guys deserve the best. We're going to keep working on it and just bring the noise tonight. Let's get a dub.
Well, you guys worked hard. It looks like it's obvious. If it won't be for a lack of trying tonight if all the problems aren't fixed. We good luck. Hope it all goes well, and hopefully the product on the field is also one that you guys are excited about. And we'll see you down there in a couple hours, man.
Thank you, BJ. Take care, everybody.
There he is, Cody Gogler at Boise State. Appreciate him for coming on and providing great insight there. We really appreciate that. And, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe we can try to set up something where we get him for a little bit longer time and can try to see what we can do there. But, yeah, they're working hard. They're trying, and I think there are going to be a lot of changes. I mean, they added way more staff. They're putting in a lot of time and effort and money to try to make this thing happen. So appreciate everybody for the comments, for checking us out. Logan says, come listen to the pep band also, 3:15 outside DeChevreau Field. That'll be the Bronco walk. Big way, the days of the early entry, laying down the blanket, come to claim seats. Those are long gone. No doubt about it. So going to be a very interesting game tonight on the field. Boise State, San Diego State, obviously a lot to unpack as Boise State makes up for a crazy week, one of the craziest weeks we've ever seen in the history of Boise State athletics. Again, come get a Bronco Nation News koozie. I got my Kroger Dr. K in here. Come on by. We got thanks to Idaho Central Credit Union for these. We have these, and we'll have them at the pregame show and the postgame show. And also, if you have a tailgate going on, have us come by. We'll pass out some koozies, and we'll maybe interview you or get some footage and put it on the pregame show. That'd be kind of fun, too. We'll have Colin Mitchell and Jaden Finch, our intern, helping us out. So full crew for Bronco Nation News tonight at the game. We'll be at the James for the pregame show about 4 to 4:30. we'll be on the air somewhere between 4 and 4:30. So be checking the YouTube channel and all of our social media channels, wherever you're watching the show now. Be checking anytime after about 4 o'clock, and we'll be going live at some point. I think it's going to be close to 4:30. We'll be on about 4:30 to 5 or so. And after the game, come on by about 30 minutes after the game. Give us a little time. We got to do our interviews and stuff, but then we'll make our way over to the James, and we'll be on the air post-game show. Kent Riddle, the former longtime assistant coach, will be with us at the James. We'll be out on the patio. Bring a light jacket. Come out on the patio. As I said, we'll take your questions. If you come by the James, we'll put you on the air. We'll give you a microphone, and if you want to give us your thoughts on the game or ask a question to Coach Riddle, we'd be happy to do that. So hope to see you at the James. They're opening up at 3 o'clock today, so come on by the James starting at 3 o'clock. Perfect spot to pregame. It's just a perfect afternoon to be out on that patio, having a couple beverages. It's going to be a lot of fun over at the James, and we hope to see you both before the game and after the game over at the James. I'm sporting the James shirt right here, so appreciate them and what they're doing, and looking forward to seeing everybody today. And again, we got the koozies, so come on down and get a koozie as well. You can put your Cutwater canned cocktail in your koozies. So it's going to be a fun day today, a fun night. And looking forward to Boise State, San Diego State. I haven't seen a game this intriguing in a long, long time with the OC change, the quarterback change. And as I said, I wrote about it on BroncoNationNews.com. Go check it out. But as bad as it's been, you're 1-0 in Mountain West play, Boise State, and you got a chance to still win the Mountain West, and you still, quote unquote, control your own destiny to win the league. And it's a fresh start for a lot of reasons tonight, but I think getting back into conference play is a big one as well. So Boise State tonight against San Diego State, Fresno State next week, Air Force after the bye week. 3 big games that could kind of decide the fate of your season here. So we'll see what Dirk Cutter and company has in store for this offense tonight, and should be a lot of fun. So we'll see you down at the James, 4 o'clock or so for the pregame show, 4:30, and then postgame as well. Would love to. The postgame shows are more fun for me because I can actually have a beverage and be a little more laid back. So we'd love to come have a beverage with you and hang out at the James after the game. And by the way, as you saw earlier, you can say hello to the great Karen Rains. She will be in town tonight, and will be hanging out at the James as well. So come say hi to Karen Rains. That should be the main reason you want to come by the James to see my better half. So we'll see you tonight. We'll see you this afternoon, actually, over at the James. Full coverage coming, Bronco Nation News. Thanks to Jay Tust. Thanks to Cody Gogler. Thanks to all of our sponsors, RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, Transportation Compliance Service, and the Blue and Orange Store, our major sponsors, all of our other sponsors as well. Check them out, BroncoNationNews.com. Hopefully you'll subscribe. Got a couple left. We're running out. We're 10 subscribers shy of 600, and we got a couple Blue and Orange Store gift cards to give you if you sign up for a year subscription. Make sure you check on Yahoo, the YouTube channel as well. YouTube channel. If you're watching us there, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Click that like button, as the YouTubers say. We'd appreciate you there as well. So Keely asking about tickets sold. Sorry, don't know the answer to that. We should ask Cody, but I think there are still a couple thousand left. So if you're thinking about coming to the game tonight, they've still got tickets. Come on down. But subscribe on YouTube. Watch all of our shows and things there. All the interviews go up there. We appreciate it. Have a great day. Big one for Boise State tonight on the Blue, and we'll have full coverage. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.